So Aunt Rose, you went to school at
Minnequaw School.
At Minnequaw School, right?
Yeah.
And then when Grandma and Grandpa moved to the house on Pine Street, you were married and gone by then, right?
Yeah.
But Uncle Henry and Uncle Lee, Mommy said, built
Built
that
the
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's nice. That must have been a huge event. It was a huge event in the whole family's life,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
I told her, I said that house was such an upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we had a bathroom.
I know. Oh, that's the other thing about a bathroom. Like there was an outhouse in the house on Orman, right?
Well, we'd have the pot in the back porch. Elsie and I slept in the bed here, and the pot was here. We all use that pot, then have to take it out to the toilet by the alley
morning.
and dump it, every morning. We never thought nothing of it.
No, because everybody did the same thing.
Right.
It's
All the
yeah.
houses along there.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
I can still see, yeah. And I'll never forget walking between the two houses. Like Jim and Ez's lived there, and we lived here, and we used the same thing to get into our yards, And one day I said, was walking in between, and I looked in that window, and that kid was laying, I didn't know it was dead.
Right.
And I ran in and told Ma, And you know what? Immediately when, I don't know how it was told or anything, but the next day that kid was gone. She was dead. It was Audrey. I'll never forget that.
How old was she?
Just a small child.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my
Now
God.
tell her, that's the fourth time you told that story. But there's another story. Do you remember one of their children died, and they had her in the coffin, because at that time they'd bring the coffin to the house, Cynthia.
Yeah.
And the kids got her up out of the coffin, and were playing with her, Cynthia.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's like, oh my God. And
And was the mother upset about that, or did
well, they
she?
didn't say anything.
Right.
Gosh.
I don't know. I read this article. I think it was in the National Geographic about some island in the South Sea somewhere, and their tradition is that when somebody dies, they actually have them like stuffed or whatever, and they keep them in the home.
Well, we had a casket in the house
You
when they
did?
died. You know what I mean? The Jimenezes, remember?
Oh, no, that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
That was just automatically done.
Yeah.
I can remember down the street, this little house, it was the second one from the corner, I don't remember their name, but
Tullis?
could be. But anyhow, somebody died, and they brought the casket to the house for all the neighbors to go see.
Right.
And the living room was probably half the size of this room, Cynthia. There was no room for anybody.
Right.
But here's this casket opened, and I thought, oh my gosh.
I know.
But I think that's what they did. People
And
did
another
that.
thing that they used to do is they would, when somebody died at a house, they would always put a wreath on the door.
Yeah, you'd know there was someone dead there.
And I don't know when they stopped doing that, but that was just customary.
Yeah.
Immediately they put a wreath on the door
Yeah.
so that you knew someone had passed in that house.
Right. And did people then, if they knew somebody had died in the house, did they do anything special? Did they avoid the house? Did they
No,
drop
they would-
things off to the
No,
house?
I
Did
don't
they-
think, that was before they dropped things off. But I think friends and relatives would just come over
Yeah.
and probably drink.
Probably. It's a good thing to do. So I'm just trying to think out, Rose, if there's... there's one story, Mommy, that you tell, but about cutting the head off the chicken. Remember?
Ugh.
Do you remember that?
I don't think
Was that on Pine?
Well, we never had chicken, Cynthia.
Right, but Grandpa Pavlin cutting the head off
Now,
the chicken.
let me tell you the story,
Oh, okay,
Cynthia.
okay, sorry.
Okay, we never had chicken.
Right.
And so I don't know how, somehow Dad brought home a live chicken.
Right.
And in order to eat that chicken, you had to kill it.
Right.
And I remember he kept it in the basement
Oh my God.
until they were ready to fix it.
So was it running around the basement or you had it in a
Well, I
cage?
don't know. I wasn't down there, Cynthia. But anyhow, finally he brings it up. He's going to chop the head off. And he caught it, and he did. And the chicken ran all over the backyard, and my dad was so appalled. And I remember him coming in when the little thing had finally died, and he said, "Don't ever ask me to get another chicken. Ever. Ever." And that was before you had chicken at the store, you know.
Right.
But he says, don't ever ask me to get another chicken.
Well, now you know that saying, running around with, like a chicken without your head is actually
It's
based on
it's
fact.
based on fact. That poor chicken ran all over it was horrible. Horrible. And I can remember just standing there like, oh my God, it was terrible. And Dad was just appalled because I don't think he had ever killed a chicken.
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
But you're right, when somebody says, oh my God, he ran around like a chicken without his head.
Right.
Well, that's what it's taken from.
Right. Oh my gosh.
It was horrible.
That is,
But we never had chicken after that. That was the one time.
right.
Oh, gee.
So, Aunt Rose, when you were in school, in grade school, like, who was your favorite teacher? What was your favorite class?
I don't remember.
Do you remember, who were your friends, or what did you do with your friends?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember even. We never brought a friend home that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But meet him at school.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's funny. Now, you know about Grandpa Pavlin's brother,
George.
George? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you remember anything about him and his wife and the kids, or?
They must have had a disagreement or something because they never did go back and forth. You know what I mean? I don't remember.
Well, Mom.
Do you know what the disagreement was about,
No.
Cynthia, Rosie?
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
What?
They were living. Dad bought a house after he got out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
army.
And they live in it.
He let them
That's
live in it, and then when Ma came from the old country, he told them they had to get out, and they took great umbrage at that.
Right.
And after they did that, we were never close. Never. The only time we saw any of them is if somebody died.
Right. There were Aunt Rose. There were 8 children. He and his wife had 8 children.
Oh, I don't remember that. Do you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they had George Jr., Francis, John. It's funny they named the
And
third
Robert.
child
There's a Robert.
Mary, Robert, and Stanley. And Robert, I guess, is the one that you got in touch with, Mommy.
Well, there's a Francis, a daughter Francis.
Right. She was the second daughter.
Okay.
She was born in 1911, and she died in 1995. Yeah. So, but there were 8 of them altogether.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Probably,
they. Just trying to think see where they lived. Yeah, no, I was reading to Mommy all the descendants of them, all their descendants, and there were tons of Pavlins living in Pueblo.
My God, I didn't know that.
I know, isn't that funny? I said, you might have actually had an interaction with somebody and not even have
Not even known, yeah.
that they were
That's
your
right.
cousin or second cousin or.
We never had too much to
Niece.
do with George and them.
Well, that's because of the house thing.
Yeah.
They held a
Agnes.
grudge.
Yeah, Agnes was the wife's name.
Yeah.
And she was a witch, I understand. Really mean.
Yeah. So Grandma was home all day long cooking and taking care of the house. Did she go any other place, Grandma Pavlin?
Not that I know.
But that was probably pretty common at
They
the
used to.
time, right?
We'd go through the Bessemer Park and go to the Slovenian store. Remember? Well, I can't
Well, the
remember.
May Mercantile.
May Mercantile. Okay. And we'd go through the Bessemer Park and walk over that bridge and go get some groceries and then walk back. And I used to do that when I was a little girl.
That's a long walk.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's huge.
When you think about it, here I walked like that by myself.
And now you can't get across the room.
Yeah. No.
No, but also, Cynthia, they delivered. And after we got a telephone, see, that was a new thing too. Because when we lived on Ormond, there was only one family on the block that had a phone, and that was the crazy people.
The blacks?
The blacks had a phone. And so all the neighbors used their phone. And then when we moved to Pine, we got a phone installed.
Right.
And when we did that, she used to call May Mercantile and she'd tell them what she wanted, and they would deliver it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was telling Cynthia one time, I'll never forget this, they had delivered the groceries, like a couple of boxes of stuff, and they gave her the bill for her to sign, and she says, let me check it first. And Rose, she went down that whole row and added it.
Oh my gosh.
And she says, it's right. And she signed it.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was one discrepancy, she always caught it. But she went down that whole row of figures
Right.
and added them in her head and to make sure that they added up to the total that
My
was at the
gosh.
bottom.
Right. Right.
So that was,
She was really smart.
she was smart, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was. And we used to get a Slovenian newspaper, the Prosveta, remember?
Sveta, yeah.
And my God, she read it front to back, and
Mm-hmm.
she and my dad talked about it. You know, it was a Slovenian newspaper.
Right. So probably talking about what was happening in
In
Slovenia.
Europe, yeah.
For all this.
So that was their source, and the radio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we were so thrilled when they got the radio because we never either had one.
No, we always had a radio,
No,
Rosie.
I don't remember.
Don't you remember in the living room there was that big radio?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so they always had a radio.
Oh.
But then when they moved to Pine, they got a small radio.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
right.
a Philco or one of those.
You know what I remember about that living room? And I've looked for one of these and I have never found it. I remember they had a lamp that when the light was on, the shade of the lamp would revolve.
Oh, I
And it
don't-
would be like a mountain scene, and you could see like the waterfall coming, and it was only when it was translucent in some way, but there was a picture on it, and I remember I thought that lamp was
And
the
it was
best.
on the lamp that you own right now. It was on that middle lamp.
The brown lamp, really? Wow.
Yep.
Huh. Then that shade must have broken it. I never saw that shade in my own.
Oh no, it was gone.
It was like it must have gotten broken at some point.
Yeah, but no, it was that lamp that had that shade.
Oh my goodness
Oh, gosh.
gracious. Because I've looked for those shades. Because I would love to have that shade. Because I thought that was the best thing in the world. I've never seen one.
Look, at least you have the lamp.
I do have the lamp. But Aunt Rose, it's a brass lamp. It's a brown brass lamp, and I had it. Mommy gave it to me, and then it got broken in some way, the base of it, and I took it to a repair shop, and they put another brass ring around the bottom, and they fixed it actually. And now you would never know. They rewired it and everything. You would never know that it
My gosh.
ever had any problem or anything like that.
My gosh.
But yeah, so I still have that lamp. It's really, really great. But I wish I could find that shade. That's what I wish.
I'll keep my eye peeled for you.
Yeah.